Something about Michio Kaku's expression didn't sit right. This wasn't the confident, ever-curious theoretical physicist we all know from TV, the one who teases the universe apart with a smile. This time he hesitated. His voice cracked. His eyes lingered too long on a single image behind him. When he finally spoke, the room, packed with elite scientists, journalists, and space historians, went absolutely silent. The presentation was supposed to be a routine walkthrough of new lunar observation data. Instead, what unfolded sent shockwaves through the scientific community and beyond. This was not just data. It read like a confession. Something beneath the moon's surface had rewritten everything we thought we knew, and by the end of this video you'll understand why Michio Kaku could no longer hold back his tears. Because what they found beneath the moon was not natural. Kaku started with a revelation that tore apart decades of assumptions. Using newly deployed quantum deep imaging satellites, researchers scanned the moon's subsurface with technology far beyond anything tried before. Instead of encountering uniform, solid rock, the scans revealed massive hollow chambers, some spanning hundreds of kilometers, arranged in symmetrical patterns no geological process could account for. These voids weren't ancient lava tubes or random air pockets. They showed structure, regularity, alignment. They carried the suggestion of intent. And when thermal readings began to show localized heat sources pulsing from within those voids, temperatures far too precise, too focused to be geological, the weight of the discovery pressed down on everyone in that room. Something inside the moon wasn't merely built. It appeared to be alive in some sense. Whether reactor, machine, or monument, Kaku didn't name it. He didn't have to. The data spoke. Then came the gravitational maps. Anomalies everyone had once chalked up to measurement quirks or minor inconsistencies, when rendered in high definition, formed a global grid, a lattice that crisscrossed pole to pole, aligning perfectly with the internal cavities and the reflective metallic regions the radar had uncovered. This was not randomness. This was engineering. Kaku pulled up gravitational maps from 3 independent agencies, each showing the same lunar lattice, an invisible skeleton supporting the moon's position with unnerving precision. If that grid was functional, if it still had power, then the moon might be doing more than holding its orbit. It could be actively influencing Earth, tides, axis stability, maybe far more subtle planetary controls. The suggestion was chilling. The moon, Kaku hinted, might not be merely a satellite. It might be a regulator. And if it was placed, if it was built, then the pressing questions follow. By whom and for what purpose? As he shifted from hard science to ancient story, Kaku's voice grew solemn. He showed depictions from Sumerian, Mayan, and Egyptian texts, cultures that described the moon not as a constant, familiar object, but as an arrival, a newcomer, even a teacher. He quoted accounts of nights once without the moon, of sky gods descending from it. Until now, we'd interpreted those as poetic metaphor. But laid over the lunar data, those old myths began to feel like warnings, fragmented memory preserved in symbol. Even lunar eclipses took on a new framing. The moon's size and distance are so precise that it can perfectly block the sun, an alignment unique to Earth. Coincidence or cosmic engineering designed for observation or spectacle? The deeper Kaku went, the clearer the implication became. The moon might not only have been shaping Earth's geology. It might have been guiding human consciousness for millennia. The final act was the most chilling. Using subsurface radar and high-frequency tomography, scientists identified reflective materials hidden beneath the moon's crust, metals unknown to modern science, scattered in geometric arrays that absorbed and redirected radar waves in ways no natural or ever could. These weren't random deposits. These were alloys built for function. When tested in virtual simulations under extreme stress, these materials behaved like shielding, like casing designed to withstand time, pressure, and even catastrophic impacts. Kaku suggested, though carefully, that what we might be seeing were remnants of an ancient machine, or worse, a dormant system waiting for a trigger. Suddenly, moonquakes, those strange seismic echoes recorded since Apollo, began to take on a far darker meaning. They no longer sounded like geological groans. They sounded like signals, reverberations, internal movements. The moon wasn't just mysterious anymore. It was responding, and that meant something inside it was still listening. One of the most haunting pieces of evidence Kaku brought forward wasn't new at all. It had been buried in the archives for over 50 years. During Apollo 12, NASA engineers intentionally crashed the ascent stage of the lunar module into the moon's surface to test seismic responses. The results defied belief. The moon rang like a bell for nearly an hour. At the time, many dismissed it as equipment error or oddity. But with new knowledge of its internal cavities and strange materials, that data has resurfaced like a long-forgotten warning. Natural rock doesn't resonate like that, not unless it's hollow or worse, hollow and reinforced. Kaku referenced brand new simulations run through AI-powered geological models. The conclusion was stark. Either the moon is fundamentally unlike every other planetary body we've studied, or it is not a planetary body in the conventional sense at all. The unease deepened when he reminded the audience that similar experiments during later Apollo missions produced the same results. Impact after impact, the moon echoed like a tuned instrument, which led to the terrifying question: who built the instrument, and why was it designed to respond this way? From there, Kaku shifted to a quieter but equally disturbing mystery: the moon's strange emissions. For years, radio astronomers have picked up low-frequency bursts coming from the dark side of the moon. These weren't random blips. They appeared in highly localized spots, repeating at consistent intervals, as though in sync with orbital positions or even lunar phases. Advanced filtering of the signals revealed something no one expected: repeating digital-like patterns, pulses eerily reminiscent of primitive computer code. Could these be remnants of a beacon? A surveillance system left behind? Kaku stopped short of making that declaration, but the implications hung heavy. Especially when he revealed another unsettling detail: those signals spike whenever deep space probes pass behind the moon. That's no longer dismissed as coincidence. Something beneath that dusty surface might not only be a relic. It might be aware of us. But perhaps the most mathematically baffling clue of all lies in the moon's orbit itself. Kaku displayed orbital simulations showing that its path isn't just stable, it's unnaturally stable. The moon's position is so precise that it allows for perfect solar eclipses, a phenomenon unique in the solar system. Coincidence alone seems unlikely. Over cosmic time, gravitational drift should have altered that balance. And yet, the moon's orbit has held with surgical precision, as if placed deliberately and maintained by something we still don't understand. Most moons in the solar system wobble a little over millennia. Our moon doesn't. Its rotational speed is perfectly synchronized with Earth so that we only ever see one face of it. Textbooks chalk up tidal locking to gravity, but the odds of it aligning so perfectly that it creates a consistent eclipse engine are astronomically small. It's as if the moon was built not only to orbit, but to perform, to act, to guide, even to monitor. And Michio Kaku, usually the eternal optimist, could no longer call that arrangement natural. Maybe the darkest part of Kaku's talk wasn't new data at all, but what had been erased. He pointed to dozens of original Apollo-era recordings, telemetry files, high-frequency voice transmissions, many of which have gone missing or were inexplicably recorded over. According to some reports, those tapes captured astronaut reactions to unidentified lights, unexplained mechanical sounds seemingly coming from beneath the surface, and sudden jamming of communications whenever spacecraft passed behind the far side. Whistleblowers inside NASA, some now elderly, have begun to speak about deliberate omissions, redacted mission reports, and private briefings where astronauts were explicitly warned not to discuss what they'd heard or seen. Kaku, careful about conspiracy claims, admitted the silence itself had become deafening. If the moon truly is something else, older, more complex, then those who know are keeping it quiet for a reason. And that reason could be far scarier than the truth. When Kaku stepped away from the podium, the silence that followed felt heavier than gravity. It wasn't the quiet of wonder. It was the quiet that comes after realizing something you believed your whole life might be false. The moon, once a symbol of romance and calm, now casts a darker shadow. It may not be a natural satellite. It may not be lifeless. It may not even be ours. From its impossible orbit to hollow echoes, from ancient myths to missing NASA tapes, everything we knew seemed to be unraveling. If Michio Kaku, a man rooted in logic and the math of quantum theory, broke down in tears over what the moon might be, then we all should be paying attention. This isn't just astronomy anymore. It's about who or what placed the moon where it is, and why it's watching us. What happens next? If we pry too deep, will we wake something better left sleeping? Tell me in the comments. Do you think the moon is natural or something else entirely? And if this shook you the way it shook us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell, because what we reveal in the next video might change everything you thought you knew about the sky above us. Because sometimes the truth isn't out there. It's been right above us all along.